and I'm principal here at Terra, and want to welcome you all. Also with us tonight are two of our teachers, Justin Strom and Morgan Stone. Yeah, let's get started. You've got a link there for our Instagram page. It's a really good place to go if you want to take a look at some of the projects that students are working on. We try and update it as much as we can. And it'll give you a pretty good idea of some of the fun stuff that students are engaged in right now. We're a really small program, and I think I should back up and say that this is the 10th year that we've been in existence. We're a career technical education program, and our entire staff is listed there. Not with us tonight, one of our teachers, Annie Reichelt, our farm manager, Trudy, and our office manager, Heather. Um, but you know, Essentially, our program is located. If you're familiar with the Beaverton School District area, we're in the original Bonnie Slope Elementary School. It's a 5 classroom schoolhouse, and we like to call it a 5 acre or a 4 acre classroom. Our mission is that we're a project-based science and sustainability school that empowers students to grow food, engineer solutions, and build community. We're a project-based school, and kind of what that means is that students are engaged in hands-on learning. They are. It is not a typical science classroom. Students will be engaged outside or in hands-on projects just about every day. We move our projects inside during the rainy months of the winter when there's not much growing going on outside. But students can expect to be pretty much outside almost every day that they're with us and working on hands-on activities. Our philosophy, as I mentioned, is that we're a 4 acre classroom. We have converted this school into a science program. One of the old classrooms, elementary classrooms, is now a kitchen. The gym is an industrial wood shop where we have chop saws, table saws, workbenches. It's a large workspace for students, maker space for students. The cafeteria is a large classroom where we do team teaching. We'll have 2 classrooms of students together, and then we'll break off. The old playground is our farm, and you'll see some photos of kind of the transformation of that farm. Another classroom is a chemistry lab for our chemistry class. Things we feel are really important is open and genuine communication between the students and the staff. Students are encouraged to be curious and rigorous learners, and the fact that we have this large space and we're a hands-on learning program really encourages students to be self-motivated and to be student-directed and to develop some of their own projects. And you'll see some photos of some of those projects as we go through the presentation tonight. And we like to kind of have teachers as guides. That's part of our philosophy. Like I said, we're able to guide students into some unique projects and experiences that they would not otherwise have. The very fact that there's a 4 acre farm in the Beaverton School District also kind of provides an opportunity that students don't necessarily have in this community any longer. Uh, and so I'm gonna pause and pass the microphone over to Justin, who was here for the start of the program, who helped start the program, and he's going to talk a little bit about the first start of the program and how that kind of has helped to influence our philosophy and our program in general.
Hi. Sorry, I look a little bit like a ghost. The lighting is not good. Um, Back to Zoom. It's really good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming. We have a good amount of participants here. So about 10 years ago, Dylan Hardy and myself started this school. It was just a field. Um, and you can see in the picture, if you look really carefully, you can see that there is a backstop in the back. So that used to be a baseball diamond, but we dug it up and we planted a farm, and the kids helped build everything. So we really laid the foundation. Everything is student driven. Everything is student built. Everything relates to engineering, science, real project based learning, real phenomenon. We follow students' interests. And we became very popular. So year one was great. And then year two, we doubled the amount of biology students. So we went up to 120 and continued to add to infrastructure, continued building excitement. We became part of the CTE program and we expanded our program even more. So year three, we then doubled again, this time adding chemistry. So now, instead of taking chemistry and biology at the home schools, the students could come and take them with us. We added Annie Reichelt, who unfortunately can't be here today, but she's an amazing chemistry teacher. And we incorporated all of the learning targets that the high schools have for their chemistry and biology standards into our curriculum. We have a very project-based, hands-on approach. We really push the kids, both in having to work together, their soft skills approach, and we also push them rigorously academically. We have students that are in our class. I know I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but we have students in our class that have already taken AP Bio or IB Bio, who want to come back for a hands-on experience, and they stay engaged. We find extension activities that really work for them and give them a lot of freedom to explore their own interests. Um, yeah, and so we've developed over time to what a full-on farm. We've got an orchard, we've got a chicken house, we have a barn that was built by students, we have a greenhouse, we have a pergola. Actually, we should have an updated picture because there's so much more there now than this picture. That was just a couple years ago. So, if you all had the opportunity to come visit us during open house, I'm sure you saw what we had. But it's a really rich learning environment, dedicated towards kids just kind of walking around, exploring, and learning based on interests. And when a student is interested in learning something, they tend to learn it effortlessly. Should I continue, Michael, or?
I
Oh,
got it. Sorry, I just needed to
okay.
unmute.
No worries.
So our program is open to all comprehensive high school students in the Beaverton School District. So we have students who are represented from every high school. Students are transported from their high school to our farm or school. Obviously, if students are drivers themselves, they can drive up to our program. But the majority of our students arrive on bus. So how that works is that students, if your student is a bus rider, they'll get on their bus at home, and the bus drops them off at their high school, and then they pick up a shuttle that comes up to Terra Nova. If students are taking biology with us, they're coming up for the morning, first two class periods in the morning, and then they're bused back to their high school in time for lunch. They take lunch and they complete the rest of their classes. If the student is taking chemistry, it's just the reverse of that. They do lunch at their high school, and then right after lunch, they jump on the bus, they come up to us, and then they are back to their home high school in time to catch a bus back home at the end of the day, or if they're staying after school for practice or for clubs or anything like that, they can certainly do that. Um, our program, as Justin mentioned, is a career technical education program in agriculture. And what that means is that we're accredited by the state of Oregon as a CTE program. And that means that all of the staff have industry experience in the area of agriculture. And I like to say that all of our staff are really kind of Swiss Army knives. So, Trudy, our farmer, has a background in agriculture, but she also has a background in environmental politics. She has a degree in environmental politics. Heather, our office assistant, has a background in agriculture and also has a background in construction. And so some of the independent projects that are done, Heather works with the students on that. Annie and Justin and Morgan all have backgrounds in agriculture as well as teaching, and they can all teach any of the classes that we offer. And really, I'm the only one who has one single purpose, and that's to fill out paperwork for as my job as a principal. I'm obviously joking, but I do not have all of the trade experience that they have. We have but going back to the CTE program, not only do they have a background in that, but our job and our mission is to prepare students for the world outside of high school. Just today, um, uh, 3 hours ago, we had our advisory board meeting, our industry advisory board meeting. We have an industry advisory board, and they are industry professionals that work in our community that inform us on how we should be teaching students and particular skills that are important for students to get jobs in the real world. We have to have a program of study. That program of study includes some aspects of entrepreneurship. It includes work-based learning. It includes teaching students about job skills and about soft skills that are needed for success outside of high school. We also have a food distribution model. So our program supplies all of the food that's grown on our farm is distributed to the community in a variety of ways. The first is that anything that is harvested while students are here is given back to the students, and so our students come home with produce every day that we harvest. We provide produce to the BSD culinary programs. And then over the summer, um, we have a CSA program where students can, if you're not familiar with the CSA, it's community supported agriculture, and it's like buying a subscription for produce each week. And so families purchase from us, and then each week they're receiving fresh produce from our farm. Anything that is not given out to students and is given out during our through our CSA is handed out to and donated to Urban Gleaners, which then also gets back into our community. Urban Gleaners supports many of the food banks in the Beaverton area, including some of the food banks at some of our schools in the area. Our program also has a dual credit option. So the biology class is aligned with PCC's Biology 101. It's actually the same Biology 101 class that would be taught at Oregon State, University of Oregon, any Oregon University system school. It's roughly, if I was speaking to the students about this earlier this week, if they were going to pay for the Bio 101 class at PCC, it's about $700. If they were going to take it at University of Oregon, it'd be about $2,000, close to $2,000. It's free of charge for our students. All they have to do is sign up and get a C or higher in the class. So it's a good opportunity for students. In terms of how students get into our program, they forecast for it. So it's our course is listed in all of the comprehensive high school catalogs and on that sheet that students get, or if they're doing it online, some schools are doing a paper pencil, some students are doing it online. But it's our classes are there in the catalog, and students just select our class. Typically in the Beaverton School District, the course sequencing is physics first year, then chemistry, and then biology. That's the sequence that students typically take. So sophomores are typically forecasting for applied chemistry and sustainable foods. And then juniors are forecasting for biology and sustainable practices. It's a double block class, so it's two classes, a science class and an elective. And it's two class periods back to back. So the big thing that students and families need to know is that there's for all half-day option CTE programs like ours, there's a lottery. And students forecast for it, and they need to forecast for our class as a first choice. You can have first choices and then alternatives. If you forecast us for a first choice, you're automatically added to the lottery, and then there's a random lottery that takes place, and students are selected for the program. And students will get an email in May letting them know that they've been accepted to Terra Nova, and then they have to say yes or no. And anyone who is not selected goes into a wait pool, and they are numbered. Once a student says, no, I've decided not to go to Terra Nova, we pull in the first person from the wait pool, and so on. I would say that, we've had extensive wait pools in the past. Last year, we were able to exhaust our wait pool by the semester. And this year, we were able to exhaust our wait pool, which means what I mean by that is that everyone who was in the wait pool had at least the opportunity to say yes or no to come into the program by the first semester of this year as well. So, should not be discouraged if a student is added to the wait pool. And then I think Morgan and Justin, you guys were going to talk about some of the projects that we do.
Sure. So we have, like Michael mentioned, we have a kitchen and we have a farm and we have a shop. And so students are getting their same courses and the same information that they would be getting in STEM chemistry or regular biology. And in addition to that, they're learning in such a hands-on way and in a way that they get to really um, interact with their learning, and then they can use that. And the best way to learn is to be able to relate to like prior and common experiences. And so once you're able to like have a hands-on experience in the kitchen, making cheese and figuring out how to make an emulsion, and then you can apply that in the chemistry classroom and learn the same concepts as you do in STEM chemistry, but you also got to eat the snack and learn all the cool science. It's really cool. So this is just a couple pictures of some of the projects we do in the kitchen. We have every student has their own garden bed, and for the second semester, they have a little capstone project where they learn how to go. We do like a soil study, and they go from just like their soil, and they take care of their soil and end up going all the way from seeds to cooking a meal fully out of their garden bed. And then we use those garden beds as a like an anchor for a lot of the science learning as well. Justin, did you want to talk shop?
Yes, I would love to talk shop. There it is, the shop slide. So in the winter for biology, it's hard to grow food in the middle of the winter. So we have two solutions. One of the solutions is we build an aquaponic system, and building the aquaponic system is pretty great because we get to grow food inside, and we also get to learn about different energy and nutrient cycles that happen in the aquaponic system, and also we get to build them. So we teach kids how to use all of the tools, and the kids have once they have all the basic skills under their belts, then they can be creative and build an elaborate aquaponic system. This year, in order for the kids to learn how to use the tools, we built a little planter box out of cedar. Um, so the kids built that in order to understand how to use all the tools, and we're going to get to use that on our plant sales. So we're actually going to get to use it to support Terra Nova as well. Another thing that we do outside of the workshop is we sometimes do a mushroom growing activity, and so we can also grow food inside that way. The idea is to continue. Unfortunately, the school year is not in line with the growing year, so we have to be get creative. But luckily, we have enough space and enough tools and enough resources that the kids can continue to work and build and grow throughout the entire year, even in the middle of the winter.
There's so many projects and so many opportunities, and truly what we don't have enough of is time. And so what's nice is that we've been able to kind of cater the school year to what the students are interested in. And if students run into a thing and they're interested in learning more about it, we've pivoted entire units and still learned the course material, but anchored it around a project that the students are really interested in.
And Justin and Morgan, maybe for the folks out there like me who were literature majors in high school and college, what can you explain kind of the aquaponics project and how that relates to bio and what is an aquaponics system?
Sure. An aquaponic system is essentially it's a self-contained system mostly. So you have a fish tank with fish in it, fish poop. That poop has a lot of nitrogenous waste in it. Then what you do is you pump that poop water essentially to kind of a biofilter where you grow bacteria. There's two different types of bacteria that convert that ammonium into nitrites and nitrates, which the plants need to grow, right? It's a bioaccessible molecule for the plants. And then the plants will use that, incorporate that into their cells and grow. And that pulls that nitrogen waste out of the water, cleans the water so they can go back to the fish, and the whole cycle can repeat. And so it gives us the opportunity to learn about the nitrogen cycle in depth, photosynthesis, respiration, water cycle, systems, their limitations, engineering. There's a whole slew of learning that can happen. And Kids also get to have some ownership and some pride in what they build because they often will have unique structures and unique designs.
Thanks. Couple like forecasting details. So as I mentioned, you have to forecast as a first choice. And lottery notifications are sent to families the first week in May. So students actually need to check their email and respond back that they'd like to accept the seat that is offered. Um, I think one other piece of information for families and students is that the Beaverton School District policy is that students can only forecast for one half-day CTE program each year. So if you forecast for two, so the half-day CTE programs, I can just rattle them off for you. So one of them is what's called Health Careers, and that's at Beaverton. Another one is Auto Tech at Aloha. Another one is construction at Merlo Station or Community School. Terra Nova, Science and Sustainability. And then there is a behavioral health at Sunset. And so if you forecast for two, say if you're not sure if you want to do auto or you want to do Terra Nova, they're going to make you choose. If you forecast for both, they're going to make you choose one or the other. So that's one thing to know. Um, yeah, and then I think before we get to the Q&A, I want to put this up. So you know, you can take a photo of the website here or Instagram, and it'll take you to our Instagram page. And our email is there. You should have gotten an email from our program for this meeting. So you have there. So if there are any unanswered questions after we close up tonight, just know that's a good way to get back to us. Also, the website will have a contact us page as well. So yeah, that's pretty much our program. We've been around for 10 years. We have about 240 students a year. And yeah, I would say that myself and the rest, I don't want to speak for the rest of the staff, but I think we all really love what we do. And we feel really lucky that we get to do this work with the students that we serve. So we hope to see many of you next year. And with that, I mean, are there any, if there are any questions that we can answer, if you want to put them in the chat, we'll be happy to answer some questions for you.
You can also unmute and just ask the question if you have one. I will say that every school does forecasting a little bit differently. And one thing that I learned, like even just today, was that sometimes for sophomores, it says required STEM chemistry as your default. You would need to select or like not sign up for STEM chemistry and sign up for applied chemistry instead. There is some movement in there beyond just what the required papers say. And when in doubt, chat with your counselor, give us a call, shoot us an email. We want people in the program that want to be in the program. And so if you're interested, like let's make it work. And I hate when people aren't able to show up because there's a roadblock that's stopping people from being here.
Yeah, I think also I should also mention if we have any students or families of seniors, we do have seniors who come back. Maybe they've done one round of chemistry and biology, and they come back because they want another round. Our classes are different enough that you can take us a second time. You can take biology a second time if maybe that's your career path, your future path, or chemistry a second time.
I do have some questions in the chat, and I saw a hand up as well. Echo, was your hand up?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, my daughter is in 10th grade. She'll be in 11th grade next year. She's taking STEM, I think it's STEM chemistry now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what is our election for her to take for Terra Nova next year then? Does she do the biology?
Yeah, biology.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's perfect. That's the perfect sequence, right? That's exactly what Beaverton wants is physics, chemistry, biology.
And if
Okay,
she
so then
finishes biology and wants to come back and do Terra Nova for another year, she can sign up for applied chemistry, and it would give an additional um, science credit. It's not going to replace the STEM chemistry score that she has now.
Okay.
And if
That
there's
would be
stuff,
another.
yeah, she can get another science credit there. And if there's stuff that she's bored and she's like, oh, I already know this stuff about atoms, we have flexibility in that we can like help learn something that she is interested in, or we have an honors option in the chemistry program as well.
Okay. So the one that does the biology, what is the other part of that? Is it the foods or it was something else?
It's sustainable practices, but we're in the kitchen and in the shop.
Okay. So it's kind of both of those things. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. I have a question in the chat that says, my child was told he wasn't able to do band and Terra Nova at Mountainside. Is this true?
Um, so I, 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 I haven't heard that before. We have students who are engaged in just about every extracurricular activity, and I guess if they were taking band as an elective, they should be able to. It may be there are some times where students have to make a choice. So there's like 3 or 4 electives that they want to do, and they only have 7, slots for classes. But never heard that before. And if that's the case, you could have the counselor contact me, and we can work out what seems to be the issue. But we have, I mean, we have Mountainside is one of our biggest schools that send students to us. So, yeah, I haven't heard that before in 7 years.
Yeah, and often there's like a space missing, especially for like sophomores. They have a health class or juniors have a health class, and often that can be moved around. So just chat with your counselor and give us a call, or we'll make it work if they want to be here. I have another question. And what does comprehensive school mean?
Great question. Sorry, that's some educational speak, and thank you for calling me out on it. Comprehensive high school is a non-option high school. It's other people call it a neighborhood high school, but the comprehensive high schools in Beaverton are Beaverton High School, Aloha High School, Mountainside, Southridge, Sunset, and Westview. The ones that are not comprehensive high schools would be your option schools like ACMA, International School of Beaverton, BASE, those schools.
I have another question. Will my child be able to do fall sports, and what time will they be back in time?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Fall sports are totally fine. The students get back in time before school ends. So our students sometimes will bus back to their home schools and then still be able to catch their buses to do all the sporting events. So many of our students are in sports.
Yeah, our students have to be back to their home high school to make it in time for their neighborhood bus home. So they're all back before the end of the class period.
Here's
Um,
another question.
yeah, there's two more here.
Oh, okay.
There's a question about, can students forecast for Terra Nova for ninth grade?
In the Beaverton School District, students take physics in ninth grade, and we don't teach physics. We only teach bio and chem. So ninth graders will take their physics class, and then their first opportunity to take Terra Nova is their sophomore year.
So,
And I should go back to my previous statement about comprehensive high schools and option schools. The one caveat is that Flex Online is an opportunity. Students can take Terra Nova if they are attending Flex Online school. The issue with the option schools is that they're on a different bell schedule. They start at a different time, and so they can't make transportation work. But Flex is not an issue in that sense. And Flex Online students who want to forecast for Terra Nova can do so. And it's pretty easy transportation wise. Either they get dropped off at their high school or they take the neighborhood bus to the high school and then hop on the Terra Nova shuttle and get to us. We have Flex students in each of our sections this year.
Mhm.
so Michael, a question about that. If a student takes, as a freshman, takes chemistry and physics as a freshman, then they can come to us, right?
Yes, but I believe that there isn't enough space in a student's schedule to take chemistry and physics in ninth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be the case for a flex student though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's chat with your counselors if it works and they want to be there. Like that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're at. I have a question also that is I have a sophomore student at Beaverton that has taken physics and chemistry, and they've already forecasted for biology. Would he check with his counselor about forecasting for Terra Nova
Yep.
biology? And
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yeah, and you should be able to, if you've already turned in your forecasting sheet, you should be able to amend it and edit it. We're not going to run the lottery until all schools are done. And so it's not going to be until, I don't think it'll be until after spring break.
Ooh, another good question. This one is if it's an A day, B day class or 5 days a week. So it's A day or B day. So they're either with us like first period, third period, fifth period, seventh period, second, fourth, or six, eight. So we have four different sections. So it's a half day every other day.
One thing I like to say to parents and students is to think of it as a half-day field trip every other day. It's a great opportunity for students to get out of their high school, be in a different environment for a half day every other day.
Sounds like both course offerings are project based. Does the final grade include lab and field work and projects? I think all of it's kind of included in there, Justin. Do you want to
Yeah, sure. I'm happy
speak
to
to
do
that?
it.
Yeah.
So it varies a little bit between the chemistry and the biology classes. I'll speak to biology.
Okay.
Um, so for biology, it's a dual credit course, and so there are assessments, there are tests that the students take, and those assessments make up the majority of their biology grade. There are, however, other projects that also get graded and get incorporated. We do incorporate, and we also have our sustainability class. So our sustainability class houses a lot of the outside projects that they're working on. So it's, I would say, a little bit more test heavy in the biology class and a little bit more project-based graded heavy in the sustainability class. Morgan, how would you say the chemistry class works in relation to that?
Well, both the chemistry and the biology, you're getting 2 credits and you're getting
Mhm.
2 grades, and there's 2 teachers.
Right.
And so we team teach everything. And sometimes we split and sometimes we don't. And we're all qualified to teach all the things. So I think the science classes, the biology and the chemistry, the grade itself is mostly based on like labs for chemistry for sure, assessments, quizzes, like the hard science learning, whereas the sustainability grade houses a lot of the projects and the outside work and the kitchen work and the farm stuff, and that usually falls into the CTE sustainability piece. So yes, they're both in there. They're both graded. It's just 2 separate grades.
Great answer, Morgan.
I don't, are there any other questions? Cool.
I'm going to go back and just reiterate the two classes. So the two classes that you can forecast for, typically again, sophomores are taking this applied chemistry class and the sustainable foods class, and then juniors or seniors are taking field biology or sustainable practices. And as I mentioned, seniors could really take either of these classes if they've already taken chemistry and biology. And yeah, they forecast for two class periods and they need to choose it as a first choice. And so, um, so yeah, I mean, I guess if there aren't any other questions, we really appreciate you all joining us tonight and learning a little bit about our program. We really hope to see some of the students with us next year, and we've got a lot of great things planned for next year, and it's going to be a great time. So hope to see you then, and feel free again to reach out to us. Um, Here at our email or on our website if there are any questions that we didn't answer. So thanks everyone for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
But yeah,